And that whilst your purpose
that you've signed up to and we share together is to be your best in all you do.
And greatness can only be measured by the difference between before you showed up and after you showed up. If I look at the number of people whose lives have been transformed by your voice, that's how we measure your greatness. First, there was purpose in the mind of the Creator, which is the reason. Then there was you. And then there was life given to you. And then there was time given to your life. And then there was a body given to you for the time. That's how it works, guys. So you existed in the mind of the Creator, and he had a reason. So your identity preceded everything else, your creation, but purpose preceded your identity. So the first thing that happened was God said, I'm trying to accomplish something. For this reason, I will need to send someone. Then he identifies the person he wants to send. And then he designs that person to be able to fulfill the purpose for which that person was created. So remember, creation takes place before production does. Creation is what happens in the place of design. This phone was created before we ever touched it. And that's why I said to you that creation takes place in the heart of the Creator. Not in the mind of the Creator, in the heart of the Creator. Design takes place in the mind of the Creator. Empowerment, equipment, the capacity for that thing to succeed at what it was created to do takes place in the mind of the Creator. But creation itself starts with a desire. So God desired something, and out of his desire came a need. And that need became the purpose for which you had to be created. And therefore, by the time you were created, you are being created to fulfill the need in the heart of God. Now, God begins to think about you. And now he's thinking. Don't forget, he hasn't produced you yet. He's only thinking about you. So now he's thinking, what must I do? How must I equip this person in my heart to be able to deliver what it is that I want this person to accomplish? And that is when God begins to have thoughts towards you. And because the thoughts come from the heart of God, which is where the character of God is, and that is where goodness and no evil exists, therefore his thoughts towards you are of good and not of evil. But by this time, his thoughts begin to bring you towards the picture of success. So the idea is that God begins to think, what if when this thing that I desire in my heart comes to pass, what will it look like? What will success look like? And once he begins to picture success, now he says, fantastic, let's equip. So now he begins to design you. And in the design phase is where God begins to put things like, like the talents. Please write that down. Talents. He begins to put things like your personality. He begins to put things like your passion. Now, how does he know which talent to put in and which talent not to put in? The talent to put in is what he decides based on the picture of success for the reason why he created you. So now he has a reason for creating you. Then he says, if this my reason were to be fully accomplished, what will success look like? And now he begins to realize what is needed to be placed in this person. So it's your talent. What is talent? Please write this down if you can. Talent is the natural grace and gift of God that enables you achieve excellence in your assignment. excellence and success. That's what talent is. Talent is a gift. But let me be clear. Talent is God's gift to you. It's not your gift. So a lot of times when people say things like, oh yeah, you know, your gift will make room for you in the presence of wait. That is not your talent that makes room for you. Because your talent is not your gift, it's God's gift to you. Your gift is what you choose to do with the talent for the person that you are giving it to. So let me quickly be very clear. For those who would like to step in the place of the scripture, right? You will realize that God gave Joseph the capacity to interpret dreams. That was what God gave Joseph. Joseph did not appear in front of Pharaoh until Joseph gave the gift to the butler. So when Joseph interpreted the butler's dreams, then the butler could introduce Joseph. It wasn't because Joseph had the gift of interpreting dreams. It was because Joseph gave his gift to the butler. Does that make sense? Anybody? You get that? Namdi, you got it? You good? All right. So now understand, but that gift of the interpretation of dreams was not what made him prime minister. If he had stopped at interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, he would have at best been released, maybe with enough money to get back to his family, maybe not, we don't know, because he was already, he was already, what do you call it? What do you call people that have been locked up? He had been incarcerated, therefore he already had, and he was not even a citizen of Egypt. So at best, he would have just been released, and Potiphar would have said to him, if I see your leg near, they would have called the closest village to the border of Egypt. If I see you, if I see your leg, you are gone, your head is gone. That's what they would have done. So why did Joseph get the job? Because Joseph's gift created a problem, and Joseph's skill solved the problem. So his gift of interpretation now meant, oh wow, so now there's going to be 7 years of farming. Now the question is, what are we going to do? That was a problem. But his skillful thinking, his administrative skill, his project management skill, all of those other skills were what now created his idea for, in a way, storing food, in 1/5 of the food being kept in some place, building silos all over the place. Nobody had ever been able to store grain for 7 years. So now that is his skill. That was his gift to Pharaoh. That wasn't God's gift to him. So like I said, until you give your gift, you will not create value. God's gift creates potential. Your gifts creates products, creates solutions. God's gift brings you into the realm of potential. Your gift provides solutions to people, and that is what creates value. So I'm asking you to ask yourself a question today, and you can also take it to the place of prayer. Lord, what gift have you blessed me with that I have not yet turned into benefit for others? What gift am I carrying that has not yet found expression through me? Because if we're going to double your income next year, part of what we need to do is to, in a way, create new products. And for you to create new products, you're going to have to probably leverage new knowledge, new skills, new capacities that you have. And some of those things are already in you, but you just need to know how to leverage them. Somebody feeling me? Abiola, you get it? So I want you to understand that when God gave talents, he actually evaluates those talents in monetary terms. Please write that down. When God gives talents, he evaluates it in monetary terms. And sometimes when you go and look at, especially again in the scriptures, you get to understand this. You look at the parable of the sower, and he says he gave 5 talents, and then he gave 2 talents, and he gave 1 talent. Well, one thing we know is that other versions of the scriptures say, oh, he gave $5,000, $2,000, 10, 1. And even then, in most places, gold is measured in units of what in the scriptures? What is gold measured or weighed in units of? Can anybody remember? Anybody remember in the scriptures? What is the unit measurement of gold? What's it called? Can anybody remember? No, in the scriptures, there's no ounce. Not that I haven't seen it. Talents. They'll say he measured 5 talents of gold. So let me put it this way. Again, you realize that talents were measured in monetary terms. How do we know? For the guy who had 1 talent, what he said was, why did you not take the talent and put it in the bank? Every single version of the Bible, every single one without exception, calls it bank. And said, so that it would have grown interest. Let me be clear. If you take gold to the bank today, it will not yield interest. If you take silver to the bank, it will not yield interest. If you take jewelry in the bank, it will not yield interest. If you put your most precious, clothes, whatever it is, you put, the only thing that yields interest is what? Anybody? Anybody? Money. Thank you, Tim. So when God was speaking about the parable of the talent, he evaluated your talent, the gift with which you are supposed to succeed in the purpose for which you were meant to be here. He measured it in talent.